You can hear me, I think. Give me a thumbs up if you know you can hear me. It looks like you can. So a little bit of, yay, hooray! Oh, what a relief. Oh my gosh, my hands are shaking. I'm going to jump back to this camera. Oh my word. I feel like every tech problem that could have possibly happened to me today happened. So I'm so glad everything's working. Oh, what a relief. Okay, this is the last class. Yay! Well, or sad. I mean, I'm just excited everything's working. Okay, I'm Shannon with Hero Arts. We're going to be creating some fall cards, which I know were on screen for a long time there. We are going to, this class has a lot of technique, and we are making 3 cards, so that's a lot. So I'm going to jump right into it. I hope that that's okay. I just want to make sure we get it all done. So I'm going to switch cameras here to do picture in picture. There we go. Like, I think my hands are still shaking. It's just so stressful. I hate the technology when it doesn't work. When it works, it's so amazing, but when it doesn't work, it's scary. Okay, big breath. All right, to start with, we did have some homework. It was pretty simple. It was 3 card bases. I'm gonna just review that real quick. So you're gonna need 3 white card bases. I did all top folding. Just to note though, one of the cards is landscape. So if this is one you want to do the side folding, then turned this way, you're welcome to. It's really personal preference. All of these could be side folding. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. So whatever you choose. But you do need 3 white card bases, A2 in size. Then we gave you some Hero Arts sand cardstock. That was 8.5 by 5.5. You just need to cut that at 4 1/4 to create 2 A2 panels. We are going to be using these totally. We're going to use one for a background and one will be die cutting, so have those set aside. I'm going to have the shakes for a little while and it'll eventually go away, but usually that's not. I always get nervous, but the shakes that's another level. And then also you're gonna need 2 A2 panels of white cardstock. And this is actually where we're gonna start today. So just put one off to the side, and we are gonna, I came up with this just this morning. I kind of felt like this is gonna make our first part of our project, which is creating a beautiful background with the leaf stamps and the stencils. A little bit easier to create that background. So we're actually going to cut this. So you need your paper trimmer. So go ahead and grab your paper trimmer, wherever that may be. There's mine. There we go. Oh, Libby, you start with sound issues too? I had a whole mess of other ones too before. All right, so we're gonna actually cut this at an angle. We're gonna cut it diagonally across like this. So long side. So I'm just gonna line it up here. This is my cut line right here. So I'm just gonna line up my 2 corners. And this isn't in the instructions because I just came up with this morning. This is just a little hack, a little trick that's going to make things easier. Not absolutely necessary, but I do encourage you to do this. I'm going to see if there's any questions. Oh, and if you do have a question, I just jumped right into it. But if you do have a question, just like a lot of the other teachers I sure have done, just write question in caps, and then I will, that'll help me see it better. And if I do miss it, just ask it again. And Kelly here is with Hero Arts. She's here helping answer questions too. She's helping monitor. So we don't want to skip any questions. So don't be afraid to ask again. All right. So I've got this lined up corner to corner, and it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. And I'm just going to hold it down and cut through. So you end up with these 2 diagonal halves. There we go. Question, is that an A2 panel? Yep. It's an A2 panel. Part of the homework was to cut down some white cardstock so you had 2 A2 panels. One you'll keep, We won't cut this one yet. We will cut it later. And then the second one, I just want you to cut it down at a diagonal. We are basically using this as a guide to help us position our stamps. That's all we're going to be using it for. And then we'll use it for our sentiment later because there's plenty of leftover scrap. But yeah, it's just as a guide. And I saw your question, Francine. So that it's working. All right, I'm going to put these diagonal pieces off to the side. And now you're going to grab an A2 panel of white cardstock. Okay, then go ahead and grab that fall leaf. Actually, I take that back. Now you're going to grab your inks. So I had 4 reactive inks, Hero Arts reactive inks picked out. We don't need the root beer quite yet, but we need a yellow. Oops, and I apologize. I don't know why my camera's doing that. That's another problem, and I'm so sorry. Hopefully it won't be doing it a lot in the live. I thought we fixed it, but clearly we did not. I think actually when I reach off screen is why it's doing it. See, like that was a weird problem. I'm not sure why that's happening. Okay, for those using Distress ink, which color would you equivalent? I would say mustard seed, twisted citron, and abandoned coral. Those would be my recommendations. Hi, Jennifer. So, or you can go even a little bit more red than abandoned coral. You could go to like festive berries, or I'm trying to remember all my Distress ink colors. That would be my recommendations. And we're not trying to color match anything, so it's not, you could really just pick your favorite yellow. I would recommend though either a light olive or a lime kind of green. I would recommend that. And then just a red, whatever red you like. Question. I have these inks but have never used them before. Can you describe them? Yes. Okay, Hero Arts reactive inks are a water reactive ink. They are a hybrid ink as well. And they just stamp beautifully. They blend beautifully. But the reason why we're using them today in addition to those properties is because they are water reactive, hence that, I'm trying to point out where it says reactive, hence that they're called reactive inks. And we take advantage of that today to create some beautiful water spots. Oh, I don't know how to turn on closed captioning. Oh, we can't do it live. We can't do it live because of it would make things too slow, I believe. But it will come on after the live. But maybe scrapbook.com, or maybe Scrapbook Cards and Today have a better answer. Can we use our regular dye ink brushes? Yes, you can use your regular dye ink brushes with them. Yes, you can. I bounce back and forth. Even though they're a hybrid, so they're a blend between a pigment and a dye, I still use my regular dye ink brushes with them. Any other questions? Does it matter if I use, okay, I answered that. Can we use, yep, do you need to use separate brushes? Yeah, you do want to use separate brushes because you want to keep one for each color. But you don't, if you've already got a red, that brush that you use for red inks, you can use that for the Fruit Punch reactive. Okay, great, thank you. Scrapbook.com answered, thank you. That's what I thought, yeah, it'll be available after. Okay, we're gonna start with our yellow because it's the lightest color and it gets eaten up pretty quickly. Question, are all Hero Arts inks reactive? No, they are not. We only have, well, Kelly can answer, I can't remember right now how many reactive inks we have. I think we have like 10, 12? We have reactive inks, core inks, and then reactive glitz, which are our brand new inks, but those kind of go into that reactive ink category as well. But the core inks are not water reactive. Okay, let me see if I get any other. And let's see. Okay, great. Oh, Jennifer's answering. Whatever Jennifer says. All right, I'm going to load up my blending brush here with my yellow, and I'm going to ink blend kind of randomly. We're not, And this doesn't have to be a really beautiful blend. It's okay if it's a little splotchy. 18. Thank you, Kelly. She said there's 18 colors. I knew there was more than 10 or whatever I said. I knew I was wrong. I knew I was going to need Kelly to help me. I just have never quite thought about how many there were. And again, if you don't have water reactive inks, if you just have regular dye inks, or which I would prefer dye inks just because they dry faster, that's okay. You're just not going to get maybe water spots, which is totally fine. Can you use the same brush for the oxides with the, yes. Yes, you can. You can use the same brush, Tina. All right, so we're just creating some spots of color here. And like I said, it doesn't have to be, I'm not doing a perfect blend. You can see some of my brush lines. That's totally okay. All right, now that we got some yellow down, we're gonna move on to our Key Lime Fizz. And I need to keep an eye on the time. And you may even want to grab a piece of scratch paper, which I have here, just to tap off a little bit. But I'm not super worried about some blending, seeing some of the blending marks for my brush. Oh, Libby has a great tip for cleaning. She says, spray your brushes with a little alcohol and rub them on paper between inks if you are worried about it. Great tip. That's something I just discovered this, I think last week, about cleaning my brushes with alcohol. That's what you can do when your brushes get stiff. The bristles get stiff. It's probably a buildup of ink, and you can clean them with alcohol. Distress or Distress Oxide. Right now, Distress Oxide would be a little, slightly bit better substitute. Slightly bit better. Because it's a hybrid as well. And they blend better. And all right, now we're moving on to the red. Gonna load up my blending brush. And totally go, feel free to overlap those colors a little bit. Filling in those white spots. I definitely want to make sure I go over the yellow a little bit. But I don't want to lose the yellow. I still want to keep the yellow. But by going over the red, taking the red over the yellow, you're going to make orange. And by going over the green, you kind of create some browns, which is totally okay. All right, I think I'm just about done here. And I know it looks a little haphazard, but it's okay. This is all right, so it looks great. And now I'm actually gonna take my yellow and go back in just because I feel like I didn't get enough. I got a little bit more red, but I don't have enough oranges, so I'm going. This is just my personal taste here, just my preference. Question, how can you tell if other inks are reactive? So the best way to tell is to grab some scrap paper, ink blend the paper with your ink, and then spritz it with water. And if the ink, and then pick up the water spots with like a dry paper towel or a dry cloth. If the ink lifts up, like if those, you can see water spots, like are lighter where the water was, then it's water reactive. I think I did probably the worst job ever explaining that. But basically you just do a little test. You ink blend, spray it with some water, pick up the water with a dry cloth, and if the ink reacted to the water and then lift it up and away, so you have these now white little spots or light colored spots, that means it's water reactive. All right, so I think I think that's good. Calling that Dunsies. Okay. I'm still recovering from, ooh, I think that makes my camera go. All right, so now that we've ink blended, now we're gonna move on to stamping. So you're gonna now get your stamp positioning tool. I'm gonna be using a Misty. You're gonna wanna pop your panel in a corner, and then you're going to grab that corner of white cardstock. We are going to use this to help us position our stamps. So go ahead and place that over that bottom right side. All right. And now you're going to grab, we're going to grab that stamp pad, or that stamp set. Oh my word. And we're going to pull out only the outline images. There's 7 leaves in total. Each leaf has let me grab some white cardstock here. Thanks. Dropping things. So there we go. So each leaf has a outline image. This is probably a better example. Each leaf has an outline image and then a corresponding solid image. I call this the detail one, which is just the outline. We are going to pull off all 7 stamps that are the outline. You don't need to dry first yet, Tammy. We haven't quite got to the heat embossing part yet. So don't worry, we will do that. We will heat emboss and we will be drying, but we're not going to do that yet. So just those outline stamps, all 7 of them. All right, and now you're going to position. Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know why that happened. Oh, hopefully it doesn't. I'm so sorry. I don't know why this is happening. We thought we fixed it. I think it's whenever I go off screen. I don't know. I apologize. I hope that doesn't make you queasy. I'm really sorry. Hopefully we doesn't keep doing that, but I'm afraid it might. All right, we're going to arrange these stamps. It's okay if a part of them kind of go off the edge. It's fancy, what do we say, working against me, sabotaging me, camera work. There we go. All right, so something like that. And it's okay if some of the ends, I actually like it when they kind of go off the edge a tiny bit here and there, but something like that. And actually, if you get close, let's flip him around for a variety. Something like that. I don't know why it's doing that. Then you're just going to pick them up. Here we go. And you can actually remove this panel. We'll actually use that again. No, we're done with that. We're done. Too much fruit salad. Something like that. And now we're going to ink this up with our brown. So this is reactive. It doesn't have to be reactive for this part right here, but just to keep things simple so we have fewer inks. We will be using this again later, so we're using it here. So we're going to ink all these leaves up. It might be, Marcy, I don't know, it's my phone, so I'm not sure why it's doing that. It's not my other camera that can follow me. My phone shouldn't be, do phones do that? It has me and my IT person, aka my husband, very confused. All right, we're just gonna stamp this. And I'm going to ink it up and stamp it again. Oh, they do follow. Oh, okay. Uh-oh. How did we do that? Oh, thanks, Kathy. All right, and just stamp it one more time just to make it nice and bold and crisp. Perfect. There we go. There's our leaves. Now, this is a pattern stamping technique, sort of, and this is one I learned from Jennifer, of course. Like everything I've learned is from Jennifer. But we are now going to rotate our panel around, and then we're going to stamp the other half, making it so easy. Oh, isn't that great? And we don't have to worry about anything overlapping thanks to that guide that helped us stay on, you know, within the boundaries, I guess. So now we're going to ink this up. This is going to make it a lot easier when we do our heat embossing later. There we go. And maybe I kind of wish I positioned that leaf a little differently, but we're going to end up cutting this anyway, so you're not going to see that it is mirrored like that. So I'm just inking up one more time and stamping it. Just like we did that first stamping of leaves. There we go. Okay, now we have all of our leaves stamped. Woohoo! So now you can actually remove these. These are done. So I'm going to grab my chamois, give them a little clean, and now I'm going to put them back on that acetate. We will use them again later with our other card, but we are done with them for now. So I'm just going to get them out of the way because we are definitely not done with our Misty. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't know why it's doing that. I'm so sorry. At least it's correcting itself, but okay. Oh, it doesn't like me doing this acetate. Oh. Okay, well, let's do it over here. Does that make you happy? It didn't like that. Okay. Alrighty, so now we're going to heat set this because the next step we're going to do is stamp on top of these leaves that we just stamped with their solid counterparts. So remember all those solid leaves that I pointed out earlier? We're going to stamp those on top and heat emboss them. But right now, this whole panel has a lot of wet ink on there. So now we need to grab our heat tools and dry this panel thoroughly before we move on to the next step. So I'm going to move this out of the way. And I'm going to grab my heat tool. So it's going to be a little noisy. And what I'm trying to do here, obviously, is dry the ink, but I kind of just go, once it gets hot, the paper gets hot, then I'll move to another section. Just do the back side. All right, so I think that's dry. We're going to test it though. So now we got to make sure we test it before we actually move on to the next step, because we don't want to, you know, stamp everything and then pour on the embossing powder and then find that the embossing powder is sticking to a bunch of other places besides where we stamped. Oh, Debbie, thanks Debbie. Tell your husband to refer to the center stage setting. Reset it the way you want. In the meantime, keep going. Oh, I appreciate the help. Man, today I would have taken all the help. I needed all the help. So this is clear embossing powder. This is the only embossing powder we're actually using today. It's clear, not one that gets enough love, right? So now all I'm doing right now, and I encourage you guys to do this along with me, is testing my panel and making sure I've dried it thoroughly before I move on to the next step. So yeah. And I see it's sticking a little bit here on the leaf. I don't know if you'll be able to see it. So that needs a little bit more drying. I'm going to test the other half now. I'm doing both halves just to make sure, because we are going to be doing this whole panel. So yeah, it looks like I just have one leaf here that I didn't quite dry. So if it does stick, which I'm glad some of mine stuck because this might have happened to you guys, is just take a brush and just brush off that embossing powder. There we go. And then you're going to go back and dry it some more. Let's put that over here. There's that guy right there. Yes, you can use powder too, but I like, and I will be using powder, Kelly, I will be using powder, but I like to test it first. I want to check all my boxes before I heat emboss. I want to make sure the ink is dry. I will be using powder. I'm just going to do everything I can to make sure that my heat embossing turns out good. So I want to start with a dry panel. That's like step one for me. Oh shoot, you don't have clear? I'm afraid you can't use any. If you use anything that's colored, it's going to cover up the leaves. I'm not sure what you could do instead. I am not sure what a good solution would be if you don't have clear. I'm sorry, Anne. I don't have a good solution for that because you can't use white or any other embossing powder. It has to be clear because we're trapping the ink. We're going to protect it. Okay. I'm sorry, Anne. There will be a card you can make though, but this one, this is going to actually be used for 2 cards. You do actually have to have that clear embossing powder. Okay. Can you stamp distress glaze? I'm not sure. Can you? I don't know. I don't know. All right. So now we're going to position those solid. Now this is completely dry. We're going to grab those stamps again. Yep, you could try masking paper. That's a brilliant idea. Yes, that's so smart. You can use the dies that you've been given and cut out masks, paper masks. Brilliant. Thank you. That was so smart. So everybody else, I would go ahead and do this step. We'll end up with shiny leaves this way. You just won't have shiny leaves if you use the mask, but that works. It's a great solution. So now we're just going to line up. And if it's helpful to know which ones to line up, again, we're going to only want to line up that diagonal half. So you can grab your white paper again if that helps to make it more clear. Okay, I only need these leaves. I'm only lining up for these leaves. That's what you're going to do. So we're just going to go one by one. Oh, thanks, Lindsay. That just made my day. Whoops. Aw, Betsy's my friend, so she's biased. All right, I'm gonna try to line these up, but my hands are a little shaky, so I'm bumping them here left and right. Yes, we will do, yes, I always do my embossing, but yes, absolutely, Sue's right. Don't forget your embossing, your anti-static powder. which I will do. I just always do it after I pick up my stamps. Yes, Alicia, I'm glad I came up with it. I wish I'd come up with it earlier. What I typically use is I made this, and I just realized, it shows you a divide. That's what I typically use to position my stamps. It's a grid. You can, I believe you can still find them at Simon Says Stamp, but I started realizing this morning when I was running through the process again, I was like, oh, everybody's not going to have one of those. So I came up with that scrap paper thing. But I mean, isn't this so fun to do this like really cool pattern stamping technique like this? It's just so great for stamping a lot of things at once. Or I guess not at once, but in quick parts. Okay, now that I've got all my stamps arranged over the outlined images, I'm gonna pick them up with my MISTI. Perfect. And now, anti-static powder. Put my and just place it over. There we go. And whoops, oh, I reached off screen and it does not like that. I'll wait for it to go back. All right, and then I'm going to grab my embossing and watermark ink and then just ink up those stamps. Yes, we're on solid stamps. Solid stamps now. Yep, Lisa. We're good. Oh, really? But how would you fix it? Sorry. My IT says they know how to fix the zooming. It's not too bad though. Okay. That's probably enough inking. I'm gonna go ahead and stamp it. I'm using a Hero Art scrubby tool to kind of work as a Chucky. Perfect, and I'm gonna do it a couple more times. I just wanna make sure I have plenty, so I'm gonna ink it up, stamp it again. I just wanna make sure I have plenty of ink on there. There we go. Again, I'm gonna use my... Did you fix it? Oh, okay. False alarm. Oh no, this is my home. I don't want ghosts. Okay, there we go. And this is the third time. All right, I think that's good. Oh, there she goes. Okay, now we're gonna grab that clear embossing powder and dip our panel in. And we are spending a lot of time on this panel, I know, but it is one we're gonna do for 2 cards. Okay, so I've got all those leaves that I stamped now covered with the clear embossing powder. You can see how they're a little bit frosty looking. So now I'm gonna heat set those. Oh no, Alicia, are you using anti-static powder? right, I'm just gonna catch it in the light here and make sure it's all heat set. Oh, that means Catherine's here. I was very fortunate to meet Catherine at the Craftutopia event in Vegas this summer. She's very, very kind. It was so good to have her on the Hang with Hero. I thought that episode was so interesting. All right, so everything's heat set. I can see it's nice and shiny. That looks good. Okay, so we stamped this diagonal half. Now we're gonna rotate it and stamp the other one. So all those leaves are still in my MISTI. I didn't move them. We shouldn't have to line them up again. Now they might be a tad off, but that's okay. So don't, even myself positioning them the best I could, I know they're a little tad off here and there, but overall it's gonna cover them and protect them, so we're gonna do great. So I'm going to grab my anti-static powder here before I start stamping. Cover that up just to help to not have that embossing powder stick everywhere. Ink it up with the embossing watermark ink again. So just repeating what we just did. They're so good, right, Mindy? I love them. And I always learn so much. I find it fascinating. Oh, and I'm so happy. Everything looks pretty well lined up. Isn't that amazing? Ah, it's so cool. What type? Mine is from Rabbit. My anti-static powder is from Rabbit Hole Designs. I really do love this. It's like a brush, and then here's the powder. It's a really great tool. There we go. So this is stamping once. Oh, nice, Judy. Yes, it's so great. And then we're gonna do it 2 more times. Yes, you can catch all the replays. Thank you, Kelly. Yep, you can catch all the replays. Yeah, the next Hang With Here is gonna be Libby. Libby and Nicole Spohr. Amazing, amazing teachers. It's gonna be a really good one. It's gonna be this Wednesday, October 2nd at 4 p.m. Pacific. Okay, this is the 3rd time. Yes, Catherine was so good. It gave me like goosebumps. It was that good. I just love it when everybody's just like, you know, really promoting each other, helping each other. It was just really like one of those great ones where you really felt like, oh, this is such a wonderful community. Woo! Oh, now it's all way high. Oh, what if we set it back? Sorry. So that's why. Okay, we'll have to do it back that way. Oh, well, he fixed it, but the problem is I have to change my camera and so I'm sorry, we'll have to just deal with the zooming in and zooming out. It's just too far away then, and I can't adjust my camera right now. But now we know. Now we know what was wrong. All right, so I stamped it 3 times. Thank you, Kathy. We're getting better. We're getting better. We're upping our game a little bit. All right, so now that is good. I'm going to heat emboss this. Oh no. And real quick, I want to note, you might have found some of the embossing powder is stuck to some of the areas that you've already heat embossed. Just go ahead and heat set that powder again. So that's totally fine. Or you can wipe it off with a brush. I'm just going to heat set it again. Okay, I think that's all done. Let's see, we still doing okay? Oh, Jen's here. Whew. Simon's here. Oh, this is so exciting. Thank you all for coming. All right, now, so basically what we did, or what we're going to do, is we've trapped and we're going to protect the ink that's underneath. So we're going to basically do ink emboss resist, but because we're doing it, we've heat embossed over where we've ink blended. That heat emboss is going to protect, the emboss powder will protect that ink underneath those leaves and keep them the color that they are right now, while we add a bunch more color to the rest of the panel. So go ahead and grab all your inks, all those 3 reactive inks, the lemon drop, the key lime fizz, and the fruit punch, and even that root beer. I know we didn't use it before, but we're going to be using it now. So you need those 3. Yes, like black magic. Yes, exactly like that technique. And get your blending brushes. Okay, and now I'm going to start with yellow. Basically, we're going to ink blend with these 3 colors first, but you want to go as heavy-handed as you can. And I'm going to diverge from, you can see this is obviously where I ink blended the lemon drop before. You can kind of see where you ink blended that color. I'm going to diverge a little bit from there. I might go over those areas of yellow, but I'm probably going to move over to some of the areas of red as well and make some more oranges. And I'm going to do that with all the colors. I'm going to diverge from where I placed them the first time. I'm going to move beyond it or actually go straight out. So this one's a little loosey-goosey. You can play here and feel it out. But you can't do it wrong. So don't worry about that. The reason why I'm moving away from some of those areas that I've already blended with yellow, and I apologize, I'm not sure why I'm getting sounds. I'm not sure if you guys are hearing that. But I'm going to go away from some of the places that are yellow or the same colors because I want contrast. I want to create some more contrast. If I just kept blending yellow where there's yellow, I'm not going to get as much contrast. So let's start right here. Get that out of there. There's a hair. Right in a red section. And we're making orange. And you can do, and when you do the yellow on top of yellow, you're making the yellow a little bit darker, so you are creating contrast. Yes, Libby, this is built for us heavy-handed blenders. I'm going really as heavy-handed as I possibly can. And some ink right now is kind of sticking to the heat embossed areas. I promise they're still protected. We will wipe that residual ink that's on those heat embossed areas off later. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the green. Same thing. Going to do it, sorry. We'll do it in some areas that I had green before, but also some areas that aren't green. So like here. That's not really green. Let's go over there. Ooh, it's looking so pretty. This is a good one. Sometimes some are better than others. This is a good one. Yeah, I'm not sure. It's supposed to be all on silent, but I'm getting messages. But I'm just gonna, I'm terrified to do anything right now. So, sorry for the little notification sounds. Maybe if I wonder if I put my computer on mute? Will that mess up the sound? Oh, I'm so scared. It shouldn't. It shouldn't mess up the sound, but at this point, I don't know anything anymore. All right, and now on to the red. This is where I'm gonna be this color is where I get really heavy-handed. I really like the red. So I'm really gonna go in with that one and really darken things up. The only thing is I have to remind myself that I don't want to lose all my other colors. Definitely going to go in where there was red before because I can make those areas much richer. And I think that's where it is going to stop right now. Oh, good. Okay, I'm glad some of you are not hearing it. So now you're going to take well, you know what? We don't have to clean these right now. We can leave these, actually. We can leave them. Now grab your stencil. So you should have this stencil as well. This is the circular grid stencil. So pretty. And this is where we're going to grab that root beer. And when we ink blend over this stencil with the root beer, we don't really want to ink blend the whole thing, kind of just these 1, 2, 3, 4, what do you call them? Radiating rings? Like we just want to go out to like the 4th ring. So I'm going to place this down. I'm going to start in the corner. This is where I'm focused right now, that center. And ink blend with the brown. And again, not going past that fourth ring. There you go. So something like that. And I know that the leaves are kind of hard to see right now. We will clean that up later, so don't worry. We will do some cleanup of that later. Because they are protected. So I'm just picking areas to ink blend. Look at it, isn't it so cool? Concentric. Thank you, Leanne. Yes, concentric. That's the word. That was the word I was looking for. And I'm gonna go here with that one. That cling is so good, Libby, right? Yes, it's the same design of a cling stamp that we have. And it's amazing. But all of Hero Art's cling stamps are amazing. Okay. I think this might be my last one here. There we go. Maybe I'll just do a tiny bit here. All right, so you should be left with something like this. Okay, now we're gonna do a little cleanup. So grab a dry cloth. You can use a microfiber towel. I have actually, this is a bar cloth. But just a towel. And just kind of clean, rub over those heat embossed leaves and you will clean all that ink off. And they should be a bit lighter than the background. Something like that. Now for me, this is not enough contrast. So I'm going to also ink blend with a little bit of brown. You could stop here if you like, but I like more contrast. So I'm going in with the brown and I'm just going to darken up some areas. Just a little bit here and there. It's going to push things back, push other things forward, like those heat embossed leaves. I'll make them kind of pop up a little bit more. So again, this is the root beer, the brown. Just ink blending a little bit more because I felt like I didn't have enough contrast. It's darkening the background a little bit, which is exactly what I want it to do. And you can go even more, but you can even go back to your other colors and even add more because everything's protected, so you don't have to be worried. So if you even want more red, you're like, oh, I'm not happy, there's not enough red in here. You don't have to worry about that. You can, those leaves are protected. The red is the one I always seem to come back to kind of pop things up a little bit. All right, this is where I probably should stop. Quit while you're ahead, right? Oops, I'm dipping my red into the brown. This is why I can't allow myself to have more than one opened at the same time. All right, and then I'll just clean one, since I did some more ink blending on top of those leaves, I'll just do one last cleaning, but I think that's it. I'm happy with that guy. How are we doing on time? 1 hour, right? We have 2 hours. Just wanted to make sure. Okay, so I just did one final wipe off of those leaves, and we have this really fun, layered, and even kind of textured with the heat embossing. Okay, now it's time for the water spots. The whole reason why we did reactive ink is because we're gonna add some water spots, because believe it or not, I still want more texture. So I'm gonna grab my spray bottle and a brush. This is my favorite way to add water spots. If you have a way that you like better than this, feel free to do that. You do not have to do it this way. And I'm just gonna spritz, I'm just gonna do it right here onto my work surface, spray some water down so I have like a pool of water. Move that paper back over. Load up my paintbrush with some of that water. And then I tap on the brush and that releases splatters. I'm just gonna go all over this panel. And you can see, so this would be the only thing you would miss, these little water spots. This is the only part that you would miss if you didn't have water reactive inks, which again, is one tiny little part of the whole process. So I don't feel like super crucial. Just letting that water sit there just for a minute to give it a little bit of time to react with the ink. And then I'll grab my dry cloth again and place it on top. Pick up. See, I wasn't kidding. This is a bar. It's a bar towel, but it's such a good size. Ooh, they got very light. But you see where all those little spots are? Look at how fun that is. Oh, it looks like sparkles. So cool. Yay! And that's our panel. So now we're going to take this panel and actually create two, this is going to be the foundation for 2 cards. So I'm going to put my water away. So make sure your water's all cleaned up because we're going to cut this. Get yourself a little clean. If you don't have reactive ink, splatter Oh, that's a great tip, Jennifer. Yes, you could splatter with just something else, like gold paint or even black. I love black splatters. I love it. My work surface is a little dirty, but I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to grab my paper trimmer. Okay. And now, this is probably the most difficult part of my class because it's the math part. I obviously won't have to add or anything, but we will be doing a little work with fractions. So, oh, white pigment ink. Yes, that's so smart. Absolutely. Okay, I'm going to jump over. I'm going to put the guide. So in your handouts for the class, you should have a image. I'm going to put it back up here. This image here of how we're going to cut this. So that's an A2 panel there. The first thing we're going to cut is the 3 1/8 by 4 1/4, that largest section. That's the first section we're going to cut. Okay, so we're going to be cutting a rectangle that's 3 1/8 by 4 1/4. Not sure if that's helpful, but let's pop over to here. There you go. So we're going to turn our panel like this. And I'm going to do this slow because I don't want you guys to mess up because we only have one of these panels. But now you know how to make another one if we do. And this edge here, because it's an A2 panel, is already 4 1/4. So the other measurement is 3 1/8. So I'm going to slide this down. Here's my 3 1/8. Let's hold it up actually. There's my 3. The 1/8 is just a 1/2 of a quarter. So that's a quarter right there. That little guy right there is an 1/8. And if you wanted to cut this to 3, you totally could. You could just cut this to 3, but the only thing is if you do cut it to 3, your measurements are going to be different than what I'm going to be saying to continue when I continue on describing our other cuts. So just a warning. All right, I'm going to do 3 1/8. So right there, that little notch that I pointed out. It should be pretty dry, Wendy. It should be pretty dry. Mine's not too wet. If you feel like you need a little bit of time to dry, you can really quickly, but be careful. You can hit it with your heat tool, but just be careful because you don't want to like remelt all those heat embossed areas. But mine's pretty dry, but of course I'm in Arizona, so I'm working with a whole different climate than probably a lot of you. I know, I always hate. So there's our panel. That's going to be our panel for one card. Actually, the card we're going to make right now. But I want to cut this and get this over with since we have everything out. I'm going to pull up the guide one more time. There we go. Okay, so now we're at the top half. You see where it's those three little sections, and then there's 2 long slithers that are only 1/8 thickness that we're going to cut off. So the first thing we're going to do is going to cut off those 1/8 on one side and the top. So let me go back to my picture-in-picture. So this is what we have now. And if you saw, we're going to end up cutting off 1/8 here on the side and 1/8 from the top. So hope that works. Yeah, pretty much, Diane. Pretty much. I'm out of that. We dry pretty fast here. So first thing I'm going to do is cut off 1/8 here on the side. Doesn't matter which side. Totally doesn't matter. I'm going to do this one. And so this right now, so how do we cut off 1/8, right? How do we figure that out? Well, this, again, remember, this was a A2 panel, so this edge is 4 1/4, right? So if we cut this to 4 1/8, we'll cut that off. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to line this up. So right now it's 4 1/4. We're going to line this up so the edge is at 4. That's a quarter, right? Let's see if I can hold it. We're going to line up to that mark right there. So like that. So this will end up cutting off just a tiny slither, just 1/8 strip, I guess. That strip is a better word than sliver. All right, so there's our little strip cut off. Now we gotta do the same thing to the longer side. Just pick one longer side, doesn't matter. I'm gonna do this one. Nah, I'll do this one. So now this, what is this? This is where it's a little tricky. This is, the measurement of this is 2 3/8. So to cut off an eighth, and I'll say it again, the measurement of this short side, which is how we're going to figure out an eighth on the long side, is 2 3/8. So we're gonna just slide it down. Let me show you what 2 3/8 is. That's 2 3/8. We're just gonna slide it down to 2 1/4. So there's 2, there's 1/4. Yeah, we'll get to 1 3/8. That's next. No, we're not gonna get rid of them, Diane. We're gonna use this for another card. But since we have the paper trimmer out, and I thought we'd just get it over with now. We'll get this part over with now. So there we go. Cut off a little 1/8 sliver, no, strip from the top. There you go. So again, I'll go back to the diagram real quick just to show you what we just did. Let me set it up. So that's what we did. That's the diagram. See the 2 1/8 strips that we cut off, the long one and the short one on the side? Now we get to cut this down to 1 3/8. So the best way that I found to do that is to just, on my paper trimmer, I wish I had a way to see at all your paper trimmers, but I'm now going to kind of measure on this end and go to 1, there's 1, and I'm going to go to 3/8, which again, each little notch is an eighth. So 1, 2, 3. It's just 1/8 more than 1/4. Okay, so I'm going to, there's 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. And then I'll cut it. Then we end up with this cute little rectangle. And I'll do the same thing now, one more time. So there's 1 going to 3/8, 1/8, 2/8, 3/8. And then you'll be left with 3 super adorable, cute little rectangles that we're going to use on another card. All right, hopefully we all were able to cut that. All right, now we can take these cute little rectangles. We will use them for our third and final card, but we're going to put them off to the side in a safe place. And now we're going to finish up this card. First thing you're going to need to do, and this is where we're going, just so you know, this is the direction we're heading. You can see how much darker I went with this one. And it's not too late. I could go even darker with this if I wanted to. I could even add some more browns in here. Sorry about that. That's the best thing. You can just keep going. You can keep building on it if you want to. But I'm going to stop there. Okay, and then we're going to grab a card base as well. So you need your card base. You need your panel of craft cardstock or sand cardstock. You can go ahead and glue that down to your card base with some liquid glue. You know, Mindy, why I think my explanation was helpful is because I struggled too. You know, I had to learn as well. Like, I had to reteach myself because I struggled too. There we go. Ooh, I love that idea, Jennifer. Jennifer says she's going around the edges with her brown ink pad to add a little more definition to the edge. I love that idea. Oops, and I forgot to take these out. I gotta take these out. And the next thing we're gonna do is stamp our sentiment. The sentiment is stamped on white cardstock, so you can grab that scrap, one of those diagonal scraps, and use that. But first, I need to get these leaves out of here. I can't remember if I cleaned them, so I'm gonna give them a quick wipe. I put some in the wrong spot, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. All right, and now we're going to grab the sentiment that says, wishing you a happy Thanksgiving. And then you just pick a spot to place it. There's dies for this sentiment, which is awesome. So anywhere you want, place it down on that white cardstock and then pick it up. And we're going to stamp it in the brown, the root beer. Yeah, I agree. My family would also be amazed if I sent them a card for Thanksgiving, or if I sent them a card in general. Oh, I hate to admit that. Oh, I'm so bad about sending cards. I'm terrible. Okay, that looks so good. Gosh, that ink is stamping so wonderful. Yes, yay, no fussy cutting. I'm gonna quickly clean my stamp. You could, of course, use any sentiment you want. Oh, Thanksgiving is just a couple weeks away for Canadians. Oh, wow. Hopefully enough time to pop it in the mail. Oh, good, Libby. I'm in great company then. All right, and now I'm going to grab those coordinating dies. And grab my die for that sentiment. Place it down. See if I can't get it. Use a couple pieces of tape to hold it in place. And I'm going to go ahead and run it through my die cutting machine. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Good. My sentiments shifted on me. Hopefully, I didn't mess it up. My tape failed me. Woo, look at all the hearts. Oh, you guys are so nice. Are we supposed to send our cards out, right? Exactly. I need my tweezers to help me get this tape off. Almost done there. My nails are too long if you couldn't tell. All right, that's okay. That looks all right. That's all right. All right, I'm gonna grab my card base. And you're gonna need some foam adhesive, which I just realized I don't have within reach. So let me grab that. And skip. I've got 1/8 and a. Now I'm going to pop this up. I'm going to pop up my panel and I'm going to pop up my sentiment because I love dimension, but if you want to glue everything flat, you're welcome to. You do not have to pop them up if you don't want to. So I'm not sure where my scissors, here we go. That's what I need to do. Cards for do these places you take cards. I've been thinking that. That's so good that you do that, Margot. So just adding some foam adhesive to the back side. Are you talking about the Hero Arts code, Anna? Which I'll put on screen right now, and then I'm putting the foam adhesive on the back. Let me pop that up. Is this what you're talking about, the SCT fall? This is our discount just for you guys, just for our Crop and Create friends. 15% off Hero Arts products. And it's valid to the 4th, so it should still be red. It should still be good. So if it's not working, you might have to email info@heroarts.com. Yes, get some infinity dies. Yes, especially if you don't like cutting all those crazy measurements. They are great. I pop back to here. I added foam adhesive. Now I'm just gonna remove the backing. I'm gonna go a little fast here, because I do want to make sure we get to the other cards, and we are down to our last half hour. Am I allowed to go 2 hours? I can't remember. All right, and I'm gonna center that, stick that down. Isn't working. Oh, it is working. Okay. Thank you, Kelly. So, yep, try again. Kelly says it's working. Oops, I think I did this crooked. I have to do what Kathy does. I have to stand up. This is an awesome trick that I learned from Kathy. To stand up to help position. It really helps. All right, and I'm going to quickly remove the backing. I'm using my 1/8 strips just because it's a really great size for sentiments. Using my tweezers to take the backing off. And then I'm going to place it. I'm going to go in a little different spot because I don't want to cover up a leaf, but there we go. There's our finished card 1. Oh, it's so pretty. All right, now we're going to move on to another card, our second card. So just do a little quick cleanup. What you're going to need is your card actually we're going to start with our other sand A2 panel. So grab that other sand A2 panel. Pop it into your stamp positioning tool. Grab your stamp set again, and we're going to grab all 7 of those outline or detail leaves. So those guys right there, not the solid leaves, just the detail ones. Oh my gosh, my camera is going crazy. Oh no. Oh no. It hates the acetate. Let's see if it will. It does not like the acetate. Okay. I'm so sorry. It was doing so good. And now it's going crazy. Okay, so now let me grab the card so you can see where we're going, where we're heading with this. Let's hold it right side up. So we want to create like a trail of leaves, and all you're going to be able to stamp is these ones here. I didn't stamp all of them though. I must have covered up some. You can have as many, you need to have at least 6 leaves. You don't have to use all 7 if you don't want to. Is that right? Am I counting wrong? I'm missing a leaf. Oh yeah, I just didn't use this one. So there's one leaf you're not going to use, that's this one here. That's what I'm doing. Don't use this one. And just to arrange them, you can arrange them just like I did. I'm going to do that for simplicity's sake, so I don't have to think too hard. So I'm arranging them something like that. Something like that. So once you get them arranged, you want to pick them up. Make sure that panel's in the corner. I'm going to change this one a little bit. Yeah. Oh, you know what? Before we stamp, let's do one more thing. I forgot the sentiment. Apologize. We need to put a sentiment right here. So before we stamp, grab that thank you or happy fall, whatever one you want, really. I'm going to do thank you. And let's see. Just position it under one of those leaves. It can go wherever you want though. There, like that. So I'm going to hold it on screen like this for a second. I think I'll move this one more time. There. I'm officially done. Oh, I like that like they're falling down. Perfect. Okay, so something like that. Then you're going to ink them up and stamp them in the root beer ink. So you're brown. Everything, that sentiment, all those leaves. I'm going to stamp it twice just to make sure I get it nice and bold. Gina K's here! You guys are so supportive. Everybody's so supportive. Okay, so you have something like that. Leave those, here's really important. Leave those leaves in your MISTI. Don't take them out. Leave those stamps there. Leave them there. Now, we're going to die cut them out with the coordinating dies. It's getting a little crazy over here. I can slow down a little bit here. And now we're going to grab all those dies with the stamps, all those leaves that we used. Not this one, we didn't use him, but all these other ones. But not the sentiment. We don't want to cut the sentiment out, we want to leave that alone. I'm going to get my tape here. Start lining these up. So we're just going to die cut these out. We're actually going to create like a window, like a, how do we call this? Like a, almost like a die cut panel, or that's kind of dumb, Shannon. Like a cover plate die. This will end up looking like it was a panel die when we're done. No worries, Dawn. I understand. You guys have been busy this weekend. I'll catch you on the replay. So I'm gonna die cut these out. I was just thinking I might switch to my other die cut machine just because this tape was super sticky earlier. And I really can't rip this panel. How we doing? How we doing? And we're gonna use all of these leaves, so don't think they're gonna go to waste. We are using all of them. Are the leaves in this set the same size as the new release? I think so, Tracy. That might be a question Kelly can answer. I think so. You know what, and I can probably get up and try it because I have that. I should see. I can't believe I didn't check yet. I think it would be, but I should check. That's a great question, Tracy. What Tracy is referring to is we just released in our holiday catalog release, we released a panel die of these leaves. Okay, I'm gonna get my other cutting machine. So she was just curious if it works with that. All right, we're gonna go onto this guy. Just switching up die cutting machines because that one has a lot of pressure, which I love, but my tape is very sticky, so I'm afraid it's going to there you go. Oh, Kelly's checking for you on that. Okay, great. And it's my only tape I have right now. Ow, I kind of cleaned my desk. All right. Actually, I should say I cleaned my table because I am a dining room crafter. Anybody else a dining room crafter out there? I like to be where my kids are, even though they're not in the room right now. Well, normally when I'm crafting, I like to be where my kids are because I like being around them. And I don't want to be in a room all by myself. These are coming out great. Do you see how they're all coming out? Look how cute these little leaves are. Basement crafter. If I had a basement, I would definitely be crafting down there. The basements in Arizona are the best thing ever. I don't know why we don't have more of them because they're so cool in the summer when it's hot. My grandma had a basement and it was wonderful. Gotta be close to the old dog. I like that. All right, we're getting there. Home stretch. And that actually this is we're doing some work for card number 3 as well by die cutting these because we're gonna use some of these leaves on card number 3. Okay. I've got all my leaves cut out. See, look how that looks like a cool panel die almost. There's all our leaves. All 6 of our leaves. Here we go. I'm just going to push them to the side. We will be using all of those, so don't lose them. Try not to lose them. All right. Now, grab one of your white card bases. And grab your 3 ink color, actually you can grab all 4 ink colors again. Our trusty fall colors here. The Lemon Drop, the Key Lime Fizz, and even that root beer. And your blending brushes. That's not root beer. Try again. That's root beer. It used to be your exercise room. Jennifer has an amazing craft room. All right. Now we're going to ink blend basically we want to add color to where these leaves are. So you don't have to ink blend the whole thing. It could be, you know, you can kind of visually see where we need to ink blend, like here in this area. Question, has anyone told you Mackenzie Phillips? No. People told me all the time that I look like Shelley Duvall. But I haven't had that one. So I'm going to start ink blending just like we kind of similar what we did when we started with our panel, because this is where we're going. We want to get this like mixed colored look. So I'm doing it kind of randomly. A little bit of yellow here, a little bit of yellow there. Oops. Yeah, we could do that. I just didn't want to. Sometimes when you stamp, you're totally right, Stephanie, and that's where we're going. You are thinking like 10 steps ahead. We will be stamping them, but sometimes when you stamp and then you ink blend over your stamped lines, it blurs your stamped lines. So that's why we're stamping after. And we're kind of guessing, but if we ink blend a little too much, that's okay. And you can always pop your panel back over and be like, oh, am I getting the areas? Sort of. I have some work to do. I don't know who Mackenzie Phillips, I don't know who that is. But thank you for saying I'm pretty, that's so kind. Yes, Shelley Duvall, yes. I've got that a lot. And now I'm moving on to my red. So this is really redundant, basically what we've been doing before. Oh, prettier than Shelley Duvall. Though Shelley Duvall was very pretty. She was a beautiful lady. And this looks a little messy. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'll work it out a little bit more. I'm going to go back between all three of those colors now and just soften the blend a little bit. I'm going to go back to yellow. Question, are stamping on the card base or the panel? We will be stamping on the panel next. That's why we left all those stamps in. We stamped on both. So we stamped on the sand panel, this guy here, with the leaves. And then we left all those leaves in our die cut, in our, Misty, our stamping. Ooh, look at the colors. Oh, it looks good. We left all the stamps in the stamp positioning tool. And once we finish ink blending this, we will put this meaning the card base, we'll put the card base back into the Misty. I don't know why my brain can't remember that. How are we doing? How's everybody doing? We keeping up? I feel like I'm going a little fast. But I'm checking in with you guys and seeing how we're doing. Now I'm going to go back with my red. So I'm just going back through all three colors, just kind of bumping up, amping up the color. A little bit here and there. And I know it looks kind of messy, but like once you put that panel over, it looks great, right? What happened? It looks so good. Okay. All right, I think that's where I want to stop with my yellow, red, and green. Now we're going to the brown, and we're going to grab our trusty circle grid, And we're just gonna place it just like we did with the last panel, just gonna place it here and there and ink blend those 4 concentric rings. So pretty. Gosh, I love this stencil. Look at that, looks amazing. I'll maybe do another one here. I know this guy. Something like that. I don't think you can overthink this. This is pretty easy. You just kind of place it here and there. Okay, I think that looks good. Let me test it. Oh yeah, so cool. Very, very good. Okay, so now, oh, I can tell my camera did its thing. Now we're gonna do some water spots real quick. Is that what I did? Yep, I did water spots, then I stamped. You could do this after you stamp too, but I actually did this before. Spray some water down. This is exactly what we've done before. Water down to the work surface. Grab your paintbrush. Was this the stencil for one of the stamp-alongs? No, we didn't use this stencil before. This is the first time it's been released, but it is, I know what you're thinking, Marianne. It's very much like our cling stamp that's the same pattern. So we have a cling stamp, a rubber stamp with the exact same pattern. Okay, and I'm adding some, loading up my brush with the water. And yes, that was for one of our mixed media stamp-alongs. But it's so great to have it in this stencil form. I love this. I love how you can layer it and just do it a little bit here and there. Oh, I can see my camera did its thing again. Why you like this? Actually, we know why you're like this. All right, I think I've got enough splatters on here. I'm gonna grab my chamois and do a quick cleanup before I pick up those water spots or water drops with my dry cloth. So I'm getting my dry cloth right now. Here we go. Place it over. Ooh, it's going all over the place. Ooh, it looks so good. Ah, those water spots, man. I'm telling you, they're awesome. Oh, you ran your dies through the die-cutting machine upside down. Oh no. I was worried you guys would be tired for my class. I'm sorry. Because I have a tendency to pack it in. And I was like, oh no, I hope they're not too tired for a lot of technique. But you guys are doing great. You guys are doing great. Because this is a busy weekend. All right, so we're gonna put our card base. You wanna make sure it's dry. It shouldn't take, again, I'm in Arizona, so it's hard for me to really gauge what you guys are like, what you're experiencing in your client. But my panel dries, it's dry enough. It dries pretty quickly. If you wanted to, you could hit it with your heat tool real quick, which I'll do. I'll just hit it with my heat tool. That's it, that's all it needs. Pop it in here. And before you stamp though, I mean, you could stamp the sentiment. It wouldn't matter, it's not gonna show up, but I'm gonna remove this sentiment. Did she do the blend on, yes, I did it on the actual card base. Yes, Angie, I did it on the actual card base. If you did it on a panel, no big deal. You can just glue it to your card base later. Stamp this first though. If you did it on a separate white panel, A2 panel, stamp these leaves first, then glue it to a card base. Just, that's gonna make sure your alignment doesn't get off. All right, now I'm gonna grab my brown ink again, ink up these leaves. Yes, we have another Arizonian. Yes, exactly, expressive paper. Just, it dries instantly, right? Some of you guys might know, but I used to do ceramics. That's kind of my background. I went to school for ceramics, and ceramics in Arizona is a good and bad thing. But things dry so fast, which is sometimes something you're fighting in ceramics is you do need things to dry. All right, I'm stamping it a second time just to make those leaves a little bolder. Oh, right. Yes, those look so good. So that's where I'm going to stop. And it looks a little busy right now, but once you put that panel over, those leaves will pop. So that will kind of help. All right. So after you've stamped those leaves onto that ink blended card base, you're actually done with those leaves. You can remove them. So if you want to remove them, yeah, we should We'll remove them real quick. I was going to leave them in there just because I'm lazy, but we have one more stamping to do. But guys, we're almost done. We're on home stretch. We're gonna do it. We're gonna get 3 cards done. And technique heavy cards actually too. Even though the techniques were pretty kind of more basic, but when they're combined together with that emboss resist, the ink trapping, the pattern stamping, it all, you know, and more common ones like the stenciling and stuff like that, they all come together though and create some really cool looks, right? It's really fun to combine techniques. All right. So now all we have to do to finish this, we have 2 things left to do to finish this card. First thing is adhere this panel to our card base. Now I'm going to pop it up because I love that dimension. I love the little shadows that it will create. So I'm going to add some foam adhesive. I am tall. I don't know if I'm as tall as Shelley Duvall though. I did play basketball. I'm like 5'8", so I'm not like super tall, but I definitely am not short. My sisters are taller. Can he fit down here? Ooh. Just barely. Got all my little bits and pieces. Put those down. I can probably make it right along the edge. I'm worried I'm gonna just cut it a little bit. We'll just skip that part. Do you guys overthink foam adhesive like I do? I don't know why. It feels like some part where I've just, it's just going crazy again, isn't it? Why? Oh, let's see what scrapbook or cards today said. Oh, start 5 minutes later, which we did. Okay. Oh, I know what I did. Switch back over here. Okay, so now that I've got my foam adhesive on here, I'm just going to remove the backing. This is my stab and grab method. It's a terrible name, but it works so good. I kind of stab with my tweezers on the side. Can you see that? Kind of lift the foam adhesive up a little bit. And that kind of helps to pry that backing, and then I just grab it off my tweezers. I had such the hardest time with foam adhesive backing forever till I used my tweezers this way. Really helpful for that 1/8, which is so tiny. Question, could you use a water brush to create water? Absolutely, totally, absolutely. Yes, whatever way you've been making water spots is totally fine. I just like using a paintbrush. I feel like I have more control, but a water brush would work too. Okay, Shannon, I gotta stand up. I don't know why I keep thinking I can do this seated, because I can't. Let's try again here. Gotta stand up. There we go. There we go. Look at those leaves. So fun. Now the last thing we're gonna do is grab a couple of the leaves. I'm gonna grab the original card. And I went with this, one of the smaller leaves. Just gonna fill in some of the only thing you wanna make sure you do is you save 3 leaves for the last card. This is the last card. Okay. Sorry, bad camera. Question, is a good tip to remove the adhesive sticking it? Oops. Got it. How are we doing? Okay, good, good, good. Okay, so I'm just gonna arrange. I think I'll do the same leaves. So I'll put that one, this one aside. This one aside. No, I'll use that one. This one aside. There's like 2 leaves that look similar. This one's a little bigger. This doesn't matter though. Whatever leaves you want. I just like to have the smaller one on this card because I like these 3 leaves to be about the same size. So these are the leaves. No. Well, we're gonna do that leaf. I'm changing it up. I'm gonna do those leaves. Question, is there a good tip for removing adhesive stickiness from tools like tweezers and scissors? I will use goo, that product Gooby Gone or Goo Gone to remove the adhesive. And for future, Teflon. If you get Teflon scissors, I don't know if they make Teflon tweezers, but if you get Teflon, okay, never mind, I have to do this one. Never mind, have to do that leaf because that's 2 the same. But Teflon, I don't know if they make Teflon scissors, but Teflon, the stickiness won't stick. I just learned that recently. Okay, we'll go like this. So kind of figure out where you want your leaves to go. I'm pretty much going to do exactly what I did before. Maybe we'll put that one out like that a little bit. And now I'm going to add foam adhesive to the backside and pop those up. Use a hand sanitizer to rub. Oh, okay. So let's just put some foam adhesive on the backside. Oh my gosh, my camera. Alcohol. I didn't know alcohol got the stickiness off. Well, that's handy to know. You guys are teaching me because that is something I always have out on my work surface. Great, I'll have to do that. Thanks, guys. Glad you asked that question. So now I learned. So now we're just removing the backing and sticking these down. There we go. Super fun. Move this one out a tiny bit more. So cute. This is my problem. My toxic trait. I can't be satisfied with where everything is. There we go. Okay, so now we've got card number 2 done. We are now on to card number 3. So you're gonna grab your final card base, which mine is way up here. There we go. And remember those 3 panels that we painstakingly cut? We're gonna grab those. And the first thing we wanna do is actually stamp our sentiment. But we need definitely these 3 rectangles, these 3 small rectangles that we made earlier. You know, Laura, I agree. I think I like my tweezers a little sticky too. All right, and we're gonna arrange them. I highly encourage you to not arrange them straight. Can you see, or not all lined up? Does that make sense? So yes, straight. You don't want them, you could do crooked. Oh, camera's gonna go crazy. You could do crooked, but don't make them all like the same level. Kind of change that. It'll just make it so much easier on you. Otherwise you'll be just painstakingly trying to get these straight over and over again. And this is how they're meant to be, right? That's how they were cut. I like to kind of flip them and rotate them around. So that's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I think like that. And I want this one up higher because I like it raised in my sentiment there. So let's grab our stamp set again. And I'm gonna grab the So Grateful For You and place it down. And just kind of figure out, I like that one. I like the middle low. Maybe that one. That looks good. How are we? Centered-ish. This is just to help. It doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. It's just to help you figure out the placement of that sentiment. I'm overthinking it. Okay, my big head's gonna get in the way. Okay, I think my sentiment's straight, so I'm gonna lean over and pick it up. Remove these. And then we'll stamp it in our brown again, that root beer. Fall is my favorite too. I love fall. Even though I don't really get it here in Arizona, but I love it. Okay, that's done. Now I'm going to go ahead and add foam adhesive to the back side of these. Actually, let's just do it to everything. Let's do it all at once, to all our leaves and all of our little panels. Let's do that one. There. Okay. And I'm going to place them first before I remove the foam adhesive. It's easier to place them down. How do I say this? It's easier to get them in the right place if you have the other two there to kind of help you get the spacing right. So and I also sometimes like to use tape just to kind of hold my card down flat. Oh, we are running out of time. Okay. Almost done here, guys. We're on home stretch. Okay, something like that. So now I'm going to remove the backing. It looks like you guys are finishing it up. Thank you so much. I know next up is Jennifer. Okay. Last thing. Stick If you have any questions, I'm still here. I'm still going to finish up, but feel free to take your break before Jennifer. Huh? Look at that camera. Oh, I'm so glad you're so welcome. I'm so glad you liked it. It was so fun. This event is amazing, right? So good. I feel so blessed to be able to even be a part of it. That's fine, right? That looks good. And now we just place the leaves. So just remove the backing on the leaves and stick those guys down. Oh my gosh, look how cute they look. Oh, they look so good. Oh my gosh, I love them so much. Who knew these brown leaves, right? On top of the color would look so great. Ah! I'm done. Just on the dot. It is, according to my time, it's 3:30, just in time. Woo! Oh, it's so pretty. So we had that one. This guy, or number 2. And then if I can grab it here, our first card. So, actually, let's put that one in the middle. So fun. Yay! Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed the class. I'll put back over here. Thank you guys so much. I will be with you when we watch Jennifer's next part. And I will, oh, the last thing I wanted to show you actually real quick. One last thing, Hero Arts is having a party. Is that everything? Yes, I showed you the discount, we did the cut. Hero Arts is having a party in Berkeley, so in California, very close. It will include a Hero Arts tour. I will be teaching as well as a couple other instructors. It's gonna be a 2-hour-long class. Let me put the info up here. This is the graphic. There we go, I should have showed that earlier. This is the class, it's October 11th and 12th in Berkeley, California. All the information for this event, though, is not on Hero Arts. It's over on www.creativeescape.com, and that's where you find all the info. That's how you'll sign up. It's been divided up into 2 days, so you can just do one day or both days. If you want to take a class from me, if you want to do my class, that's Saturday, just so you know. Saturday I'll be teaching. But yeah, especially if you're in California, we would love to have you come. You'll get a factory tour. Erin will take you around the factory. You'll make a stamp. There's going to be a very awesome swag bag full of product. It's going to be amazing. If you are able to come, we would love to have you. So yeah, definitely make sure you check out creativeescape.com. That's where all the info is. All right, thank you, everybody. Enjoy the rest of the event, even though we're on the last stretch, and I will see you again soon. Definitely on Hero Arts. You can always find me there. Bye, everyone. Thank you. If you have any questions, though, I'll just hang here just back for a second if you have any questions. I know, October's so busy, right, Jennifer? Such a busy time. All right, guys. I'm just going to pause here just to see if there's any questions. Okay, great. I think most people have moved on. All right, thank you, guys. I will see you in the comments for sure for Jennifer's event. Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you.